By evoking one of StarCraft's most memorable Terran vs. Zerg missions, the early access version of They Are Billions is onto a great idea. A simple but high-stakes game of survival against an overwhelming horde. With a randomized map and no ability to save and reload when things go wrong, every game is a tense, turtling battle. Survival is the only mode right now. It starts in a dire situation. You're completely surrounded by a horrifying number of shambling zombies with nothing but a handful of units to defend your mission-critical town center. The early stages are a desperate race to clear and wall in as much territory as you can, knowing that if even one zombie wanders into your town and infects the civilians inside, it'll set off a chain reaction of zombification that's all but impossible to contain. What keeps this interesting across repeated attempts is the randomized terrain and resources. That makes you constantly think about what territory is most important and how best to defend it. Of course, this can make some games feel like a raw deal if you're starved of resources early on, but the thrill of adapting to less than ideal situations is what it's all about. The complex economy also demands a lot of attention. Most buildings and units require at least 2 resources to build and keep running. So you have to make sure you always have enough gold, population, food, power, wood, stone, iron, and oil on hand to keep your expansion from grinding to a halt. All of this would require a high level of skill just to survive the opening minutes if They Are Billions were like most other RTS games. But a key difference is that you're allowed to pause and take all the time you need to freely build and give orders. It's still all too easy to miss a stray zombie, but it makes the threat much more manageable. And fortunately, civilians work automatically, so there's no need to worry about individually building or assigning them. Once you've built up a group of about 20 snipers, you can clear the wandering groups of undead like a lawnmower cutting through tall grass. But then it becomes a race against the clock to tech up and produce advanced defenses before huge tidal waves of zombies attack at regular intervals. Toward the end of a standard 100-day run, the waves get so big they look like a fluid simulation of actual waves as they crash into your walls. The late game becomes like a tower defense, though the limited number of tower, unit, and enemy types makes the exercise of placing defenses repetitious. Only the spitting zombies force you to think about anything other than how to apply maximum firepower to where you expect the zombies to show up. Predicting that can be tricky, because as your borders expand to accommodate a growing population, you're forced to spread yourself thinner and thinner to defend all your walls. Unless one of the waves happens to come from a given direction early, you may not know where they'll hit until it's too late. And if you guess wrong, it's the whole ballgame. Also, that final wave is a real beast. Nothing They Are Billions throws at you before that will even begin to prepare you for the final onslaught, and it can be discouraging to have a 4-hour playthrough end in a total blowout. It took me over a dozen attempts before I withstood it. More maps unlock once you survive the first one, but while they look a little different and are harder, all of the same strategies apply. What They Are Billions needs to keep its gameplay fresh after you've established a winning routine is more meaningful modifiers. Right now you get a choice of random bonuses every time you hit certain population levels, but they're never more than free units or resource or efficiency boosts that let you skip over parts of your established build order. Throwing in real, game-changing modifiers to unit and enemy behaviors that stack on each other would give each playthrough more of a unique, roguelike feel. They Are Billions' early access survival mode makes single-player turtling in an RTS feel new and exciting for the first time in years. The lack of a save game safety net and the fragility of your starting colony makes each attempt dangerous, and the random maps force you to think carefully about how and when to expand your colony. Once you settle into a routine, there aren't many surprises to force you out of it, but getting that far is a good challenge. Check back for our final score once They Are Billions comes out of early access. In the meantime, you can check out our reviews of Battlestar Galactica Deadlock and Bomber Crew. And for everything else, stick with IGN.